Welcome to Barca News. It is July 6th, 2024, and Barcelona could earn up to 3.2 million euros from the Euros. Also, the Spanish national team have confirmed Pedri's injury and how long he could be out. And finally, Joshua Kimmich is Barcelona's number one priority to reinforce the midfield. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and I'm bringing you this short live stream to keep you up to date on all Barcelona news since I am out of home or out of town, so I can't edit and post videos. So this is why I'm coming to you live. This is not a podcast, so I won't be addressing the chat section and it also won't be that long. Now, having said all that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kickback. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the bet us. Both links for Kickback and Bet Us are down below in the description. Now, let's start this live stream with coverage of the Euros as we've been doing since the competition began, because the semifinals are officially set. Because today, England defeated Switzerland in a penalty shootout. England still not really convincing, even though they did start the competition as one of the favorites. Just like France, not very convincing. They had to go all the way to penalty shootouts. And England came out on top. And then in the other quarterfinals, it was the Netherlands who mounted a comeback against Turkey. Turkey were winning 1-0, and then Netherlands ended the match 2-1. So now the semifinals are officially set, where Jules Koundé's France will be playing against Lamine Yamal, Fermín López, Pedri, and Ferran Torres' Spain. And the other semifinal will be between England and the Netherlands. I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Who do you think will be in the final? I'm thinking maybe Spain versus Netherlands. At first, I had it Spain versus England, but the way England has been playing, I'm not too convinced now. So maybe Spain versus Netherlands. I'm curious to hear what you guys' predictions are. So drop it down below. Now, speaking of the Euros, Barcelona could earn up to 3.2 million euros from this European competition. And you might ask, Mo, how is Barcelona going to make money off this? Well, the UEFA pays clubs 10,000 euros per day for each player that the club sends to the competition. And that starts 10 days before the first official match of that team until 1 day after the elimination. And since Barcelona sent 9 players to the Euros, they'll be getting paid 10,000 euros per day for each one of those players from 10 days before the first official match of each one of those national teams until 1 day after their elimination. Now, these payments are adjusted based on how long the player's been at the club. Only players that have been at a club for 2 seasons get paid, and it gets adjusted based on how much time they spend at the club. For example, Ilkay Gundogan, he was only here 1 season at Barcelona. The season before that, he was at Manchester City. So Barcelona will only get a partial payment for Gundogan, with the other part going to Manchester City. The same thing with Dembélé. He spent last season at PSG, but the season before that, he was at Barcelona. So Barcelona will get part of the payment for Dembélé's participation, with the other part going to the French club. Now, so far, Barcelona have earned 2.5 million euros from their players participating in the competition. And this is the breakdown of how much Barcelona have received so far from these players, with 220,000 coming from Lewandowski's participation with Poland, 360,000 from Andreas Christensen's participation with Denmark, 330,000 from Ter Stegen and Gundogan's participation with Germany, 320,000 euros from all the Spanish players, which are Pedri, Ferran, Lamine, and Fermín, and finally 330,000 from Koundé's participation with France. I think part of those 330 also come from Dembélé's participation with France. Otherwise, that figure would not make sense on how Barcelona would make so much off just one player. Now, Barcelona could still earn more money. So far, they've earned 2.5. They can earn more because there are still 5 Barcelona players participating in the Euros. If Spain make it all the way to the final, Barcelona will get an extra 100,000 for each player. There are 4 players right now, so an extra 100,000 from each one of those players if Spain make it to the final, totaling Barcelona's pocket or revenue to 3.2 million. But even if France defeats Spain and make it all the way to the final, Barcelona could still earn north of 3 million because, again, Koundé and Dembélé, Barcelona would still get money for them. So pretty good news. 3.2 million might not sound like a lot, but given the club's financial situation, every euro counts. Now, speaking of the euros, Barcelona could also get paid around 300,000 euros for Pedri's injury. As you know, there is a rule that when a player gets injured during an international competition, FIFA pays money to the club, kind of like a compensation. So since Pedri was injured, Barcelona could earn an extra 300,000 from Pedri's injury. Now, speaking of Pedri's injury, the Spanish national team have confirmed the extent of the injury. We know that Kroos, with that criminal foul on Pedri, he injured him. He ended his match. They were saying he injured his knee. They were expecting him to be out 4 weeks. But of course, medical exams are not conducted until the following day, which was today. So more detailed medical exams were conducted on Pedri, and it has been confirmed that he has suffered a grade 2 sprain in his left knee. And as such, he is expected to be out for 6 weeks. So it's a month and a half that Pedri will be out as a result of Toni Kroos's injury. Foul on him. Really, really bad news. He will miss probably the entire preseason. He might be back a little bit before the season kicks off, but even if he does, that means that Pedri will not have time to get prepared in the preseason. That means that his preparation will have to take place when the season begins. So bad news on that front, but we wish Pedri a speedy recovery, and hopefully he can be back as soon as possible. Now, speaking of Germany, we'll end this live stream by discussing Joshua Kimmich, because it's been confirmed that the German is still Barcelona's #1 priority to reinforce the midfield. Now, we know Kimmich has been linked with Barcelona for quite some time, but it always seemed impossible because there's no way that Bayern Munich were going to let go one of their most important players. But now relationships between Kimmich and Bayern Munich have completely broken down, and as such, Kimmich is set to leave Bayern during this summer. He is not going to renew his contract, which expires in the summer of 2025. So as such, Bayern Munich will be looking to sell him because, as you know, if a player doesn't renew, clubs will look to sell him his final summer. Otherwise, they risk him leaving for free the following summer. So we know for sure that Kimmich is leaving Bayern this summer. Of course, he does have offers from many other clubs like Manchester City, and Kimmich and Hansi Flick wants Kimmich as a signing to reinforce his midfield. And even though Kimmich wants a 20 million euro per season salary, and even though Bayern are asking between 40 to 50 million euros for Kimmich, it seems that the player is still Hansi Flick's #1 priority to reinforce the midfield. Now, Flick believes that Kimmich is the perfect signing for his setup or for his style of play, because Kimmich is not really your typical pivot that just stays back, or kind of like an anchor that stays back. Kimmich is more of a midfielder that can cover a lot of ground, which is what Hansi Flick always looks in his midfielders. So he believes that he will be the perfect fit for his system of play. Plus, Hansi Flick already trusts Kimmich. He already coached them both on the German team and on Bayern Munich. And therefore, Flick wants to have a conversation with Joshua Kimmich to try to convince him to come to Barcelona and see if he can lower his asking salary. If that's successful, then Barcelona will try to sign him. If not, Barcelona are not going to pay the 20 million euros salary that Joshua Kimmich is currently asking for. So for now, it seems that Flick still wants Kimmich. He wants to talk to him. We'll see what comes out of that. Of course, Germany just got eliminated, so most likely conversation will be taking place in the upcoming few days, or maybe next week or the week after. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I will be going live as soon as this one ends because there is more news, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. And as always, peace, Barça.